hearing will become dull. You need a sensitive spirit. You need to learn the voice of the Lord. And it comes by obedience. Let me give you a quick illustration, a biblical illustration of losing sensitivity to the voice of the Spirit. His name was Saul, the first king of Israel. And when Saul was anointed first king of Israel, he was small in his own sight. He knew he needed God. And he was able to hear God. In fact, after his anointing, or before his anointing, he began to prophesy with the prophets, and people began to say, is Saul one of the prophets now? Spirit of God was using him. He had a sensitivity to God. He and Samuel had an awesome relationship. And when Samuel the prophet heard from God, he would go and tell Saul what to do. And Saul did it. And there was a sensitivity in his heart that he could hear God. But when he disobeyed and refused to do all that God was telling him to do, the Bible shows us over a course of time, it got to where the Spirit of the Lord no longer spoke to Saul, and Saul could not hear from God, could receive nothing, though he inquired much. And he ends his life, because he can't hear from God, going to a witch to try to get some message from God. Disobedience. When you disobey God, whether it's the written word or what God's telling you personally, your spirit gets a little dull, a little harder. And the next time it's much more difficult to hear Him. Let me give you an illustration of how you gain sensitivity to the voice of the Spirit. Samuel is just the opposite. Here he is, a young boy serving in the tabernacle with the high priest Eli. And one night he went to bed and he heard somebody call his name. He thought it was